Hello, everyone. Welcome to the town hall. We're going to let everybody get joined in here. Hopefully you're seeing the screen. As always, we'll have the chat and the Q&A open. Feel free to use both. Tell us where you are. And we'll get started here as soon as it hits the top of the hour, or bottom if you're in India. All right, some chat's already going. Texas, fantastic. Palo Alto. Eric, I just listened to your podcast. It was very good with you, Bob, Corey, and then two other folks on there. Good podcast there. 749, I believe it was. All right, we are at the top of the hour, so we're going to get started here. Lots of good information for everyone. First, my name is Brad Tompkins. I am the VMUG Executive Director. So a good way to get me is to hit me up on LinkedIn or Twitter, or X, as Elon likes to call it now. And yeah, happy to chat either way. A lot of people do that, but it's always nice to talk to members out there in the community. So the town hall is about making sure people understand what's going on in the community. We've been doing these ever since the acquisition, and the content changes, and that's a key piece there. But Broadcom, as I mentioned, I was talking with Eric, he's on the call. We always typically have somebody from Broadcom on the call. We do share this information because they do want to hear back from members. This is a VMUG Town Hall, and we obviously cover VCF and Broadcom and those kind of things. But the main thing is keeping folks up to date on changes. I can say that the ecosystem has calmed down a lot. Broadcom made a lot of changes early on, but we're nearly 2 years now, right at 2 years past the acquisition. So things are stabilizing, but it's always good to get together and learn what's going on, not only in VMware land, but everywhere else. So speaking of, we got these webcasts coming up. 2 by Valley Cyber, which I really like, the How the Grinch Stole ESXi, which is good title there. But Valley Cyber, if you don't know them, they do have a solution that protects ESXi from ransomware. Very popular session. I will say this, the security forecast for 26, probably going to be a little depressing. But nonetheless, us as IT, we got to know these things so we can learn how to protect our organizations. And then December 11th is Intel. And Intel's got a lot of good products around AI. Of course, VCF now includes private AI. So members out there, I encourage you to start dabbling with AI. Maybe you're advanced in AI already, building out your own LLMs and RAGs. You can do that now all on VCF 9 and learn how to use this, because this is something that can be a career differentiator for you. I'm telling you, the vSphere admin job that served you well in the past, you've got to build on that. And you know this. We know this because you tell us this in surveys. I want to move up the stack for my career. And that's one good way to do it, is through AI. So you might be thinking, I can't get any kind of AI going because I don't have these expensive GPUs out there. Well, this session talks about how you can do it with Intel chips that you may already have, and you can start doing some AI workloads. There's a lot of AI workloads that really make sense for Intel. Obviously, some are going to need GPU as well, but you can get started with the Intel chips that you already have. All righty, VMUG updates. Well, the big news is, of course, we have launched VMUG Connect, and we tried to show this video in the previous one, but all the audio should be working. So this is about a 2-minute video, but definitely hit me up on the chat. Y'all should be hearing this fine, but if not, let me know.
For years, VMUG user cons have been where our community came to life.
It changes jobs into careers. What we do here changes people's lives.
My first UserCon changed everything. I found the community and I love it.
You'll learn a lot at a VMUG, but the best thing you'll leave with is the contact information of other attendees. You may walk in alone, but you're going to leave with a strong network.
It wasn't just another tech event, it was a homecoming.
UserCons have shaped careers, built friendships, and sparked innovation. But as IT evolves, so must we. That's why in 2026, we're turning the page. Welcome to the next chapter of our journey. VMUG Connect, multi-day, multi-experience, events that deepen learning, connection, and community. This year's inaugural VMUG Connect brought members together around the world, and the energy was undeniable. Now we're taking that momentum to the next level. More time to dive deep into VMware technologies. More space to collaborate with partners. More peers, more scale, and more ways to connect globally and locally.
VMUG Connect is about showing up for each other and for what's next.
It's a promise to deliver richer experiences and deeper value.
It's built on everything UserCons gave us and everything the future demands.
We're not leaving UserCons behind. We're building on their legacy. Join us at VMUG Connect.
That's right. Well, I'm glad you got to hear the audio. I can tell you the first town hall wasn't that successful, but as it says, registration is now open. In fact, here's a list of the dates and all the locations that we're going to be. So again, just to recap, no more UserCons. We are moving to a Connect only model, multi-day event. It's a paid, paid event. And you can see all the locations that we're going to be. Obviously, there's a break around Explore. Explore is a huge event for us. It's not our event. It's a Broadcom event, but it's a great event. So make sure you go to Explore. That's why we have no connects in between, around that Explore timeframe. And we are looking forward to this. It's going to be great. The price point is going to be anywhere from like $250 to $630, depending on the location, depending on if you're an Advantage subscriber. Those kind of things. Early bird pricing kicks in there as well. So you can register today for any of these. We also have people that have already registered for them. So that's great to see as people are building excitement around Connect. So we're going to have keynotes. We're going to have breakout sessions. Of course, you're going to hear about VCF. And yes, we'll have certs and cert sits and those kind of things. But what makes Connect better than ever, and what really makes the magic of VMUG is when you share your stories. So this is your call to action right here. Go sign up to be a speaker. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wow, that's not something I really want to do or something I've done before. That's okay. All you got to do, scan that code, or you can go to vmug.com if your security spider senses are kicking up and you don't want to scan a random QR code. I get it. But anyway, you can go to vmug.com and find it. Y'all are intelligent people. All you need is your abstract and your title. That's it. Just title and abstract. Even if you're on the fence, you will have time to say, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do this. But if you're thinking about it, put it in there. And what we're going to do is we are going to work with you on this. We're going to tell you, hey, this is great. Here's like areas that you can build out. Then if you get selected, and it ends December 20th, so you'll know way in advance, then you can build out your slides. My whole point in saying this is if you've got an idea and it'd be like, that would be cool to talk about, put it in the call for papers. We'll take a look at that. We'll contact you on that, and we'll figure it out from there. By no means submitting call for papers has got you locked in. It's a multiple step process there. So just know that that's not a guarantee that it's going to happen. And look, if you want to speak at all of them, check the box. You can speak at all of them. Again, no guarantees that's going to happen, but hey, that might be fun. You know, the summer and spring with VMUG Connect. So it seems like a big ask to some of y'all, but I can tell you this is a great opportunity, and one of the benefits of VMUG Connect is stretching your skill set. We know you know the tech, and yes, tech is always changing, and we always got to keep up to speed and always got to learn more and all the new stuff coming out in 9 and those kind of things. But this is a way to really move your career on a different trajectory, because as IT professionals, you have to be able to communicate with people. And sometimes there might not be tech people. Sometimes it might be a large room. We've got some members that present in front of boards and those sort of things. So I'm telling you, getting this skill in your list of skill sets is huge. So if you're still on the fence, well, good news. We have got an office hour session that we're doing that we're going to go in more details about this. So if you're thinking about doing it and you're not ready to put your name in the call for papers, come to this and we'll convince you to do it. You can find that link too as well. And so just encourage everybody to do this, because I'm telling you, this is the magic of VMUG. This is what's going to make VMUG different than, you know, all the other conferences out there. And it's not that those other conferences are bad, but that's the magic of VMUG. So we need the magic of VMUG to continue, and we need you to do that. One last thing on this. It's great if you want to talk about VCF. It's great if you want to talk about VVF. You could talk about a portion of one of those. You could talk about what you've upgraded in vSphere, but it doesn't have to be that. It could be, let me tell you about how we had to upgrade our data center, you know, move our data center. Maybe it was an acquisition. Maybe it's some advances that you've made with your Wi-Fi in your building or something like that. It could be anything related to tech that we do on a daily basis. It could be around VDI and what you're doing to helping out the virtual desktops. Could be security, you know, how you rolled out a security vendor like a CrowdStrike or Carbon Black or whomever. Any of those things are open to be talked about, as well as just your career journey. You know, maybe some tips and tricks on how you've advanced. You know, most of us, like myself, started out on the help desk. How do you get to where you are? Any of those type things. It could be home lab stuff. So it doesn't have to be just VCF or VVF or even VMware related. All right. I think I've hit that enough. We will move on. All right. So we had a great global virtual event. The first one that we had over 3,000 people there, and we're like, oh, that was because it was the 9.0 launch. And man, we've had a really good event on this one. You can see almost 2,300 people attended. You can look at the stats there, but the bottom right, you know, content relevant to my professional needs and challenges. You can see that's what 76% strongly agree. That's fantastic. That goes back to the content. That's what's going to make Connect great. We had a great one in St. Louis and looking to build on that. So all of this content is on demand. So if you missed it, you're in luck. And we see people go back to these on demand and watch it. So we know you're doing it. And that's why we got it out there. So we appreciate that. All right. The local community is huge for VMUG as well. These are some of the stats. Now, you know, we got time to still get some new chapters and new leaders going, but this is where we stand today. This is the last town hall of the year. So we had 31 new leaders, 9 in September. We're definitely seeing some more momentum, not only around leaders, but sponsorships, attendance, those kind of things. The momentum is building in the community. Again, we're 2 years past the acquisition. We're seeing that in numbers across the board as far as just stability and building back. 2 new chapters in APJ and Hong Kong and Thailand. So good news there. So good news all across the board. It's been a good year for VMUG in 2025 and looking forward to an even better 2026. Now, we talked about Explore. Broadcom does Explore on tour as well, and VMUG was large at all of these ones. You could see on the bottom right with the boat, that was in Paris. They had an event on a boat, which sounds lovely. I was not able to attend that one. Top left is in Frankfurt. We did a stadium tour. I was at this one. We did a stadium tour at the local soccer team, football team, depending on where you are. You'll figure out, being in Frankfurt, which ball they use. And it was nice. We were able to tour down on the pitch and see all kind of neat stuff there. So that was fun. Top middle is the APJ one. I believe that was in Tokyo. I think top right is that's also Paris. I know that we had Sydney had an event. London, we had the UserCon there that we talked about earlier. but really good events. And Explore on Tours are going to be expanding. I heard that from Joe Bagley when he spoke to the crowd at the football stadium. So they're going to make these bigger. I think they maxed out on all the attendees they could have, so they're going to be bigger. Don't know any other details on that. I'm sure they'll be announcing that soon. But Explore on Tour is going to be here to stay. And obviously, that's kind of a replacement, I'll say, for VMware Explore Barcelona. But great events. They did a really good job. I candidly like when it's not, 10, 15,000 people. You really get to know more people and mingle with more people when it's in that not quite as big range. All right, so we had a call with the APJ leaders, the VMUG leaders, as well as the V experts. And of course, that's Krish there. And Krish and I did a little session, and then we broke it up into Q&A. There was a lot of people from all over the APJ region, which was great to see. Appreciate the time that Krish spent with us. And again, this was an exclusive audience, just the V experts and just the APJ V experts and just the APJ leaders. But it was good. I gave a little overview of what was going on with VMUG and kind of a recap of the year. Some of the information here, some a little bit deeper because they are leaders. And Krish gave an update on VCF. And of course, he's the SVP GM of VCF division. So it literally does not get any higher than him when it comes to VCF division. So it's great to see that kind of support and that openness for Broadcom to, take open questions and hear from the community. So that was a wonderful event, and I appreciate everybody attending that. All righty, VMUG Advantage. So this is something that you need to go. We get a lot of questions, and I know Eric gets lots of questions about how do you get the licenses? Well, Eric did a session. He's also done some other YouTube videos out there telling you how to do this. You need to go watch these YouTubes because it is a little bit, I'm trying to think of the best word. You know what? It is a little bit complicated. I'll just say it. But there's a reason for that. And Eric does a great job of showing how to get around that. The reason why is Broadcom is really helping out Advantage and VMUG by making an exception to get people these bits to run in a home lab. This process is super easy if you're a customer of Broadcom. Well, Advantage subscribers are Advantage subscribers, and this is for personal use. This isn't, you can't link it up to your company profile because you can't use it in production, personal use, blah, blah, blah. So Eric and team have done a tremendous amount of work to make this happen. And look, you're all smart. You can figure it out. It's not that big a deal. Might not be as intuitive as you would want it to be, but nonetheless, it can happen. Go watch those videos. And in one of the videos that I listened to earlier, I'll quote Eric. He's like, hey, ask ChatGPT. It's pretty accurate, or whatever AI you want to use on how to get around this and do that. But we do have tons of videos out there as well. Second thing from a Broadcom perspective is vExpert applications are live. So make sure you go apply to become a vExpert. If you're a VMUG leader, go apply. They look at that. If you've spoken at a VMUG, go apply. If you have Advantage and you're blogging about what you're doing to upgrade your environment or what kind of hardware specs you're doing, go apply. We want everybody to be a vExpert. So make sure that you apply to your VMUG, a vExpert, especially if you're a VMUG Advantage subscriber or a VMUG leader. All righty, speaking of Advantage, so a couple of things here. You can see you can get that 10% off with the use code of Town Hall. That'll bring it down to $189 US. The biggest benefits here is, yes, if you get your certification, which Advantage will give you 50% off, you get your full VCF license, 128 core license, vDefend, Avi load balancer. And so look, it's the whole package. Now you're going to have to provide your own hardware for that, but it's the whole package. That's only if you pass your VCP, VCF, admin, or architect. So those are the two that you have to pass to get your 128 core. Broadcom recently introduced a support, VCB, VCF support. That is not included. It's only admin or architect. So just be aware of that. There's other discounts for Advantage subscribers with New Horizons, which is training, as well as Enter One, which does training as well. And these are training on not only VMware and Broadcom products, but other IT solutions all across the globe. So good reasons to be a VMUG Advantage subscriber. That's $189 US a year if you use that 10% off. And if you got to do the general membership, it is complimentary, but I encourage you to do the Advantage. All right, partner updates. We don't have a ton of partner updates. I just wanted everybody to be aware of a couple things. One, we did a webcast on this. You can go find it, but it's the VCSP webcast about the changes to that program. Here it is in a nutshell. Some people that were in the CSP program under VMware are not going to be moving forward in the CSP program under Broadcom. If you've got workloads in that category with somebody that's not moving forward, you need to understand that and understand what you need to do with that workload. Maybe it's leave it there. Maybe it's move it to somebody else. My guess is your CSP has got a plan for you to migrate to somebody else. You can still get services from that CSP if you need to. So there's a lot of caveats there that we cannot get into on all the details on this call. Go watch the webinar. But just know that those changes have already happened here in NORAM. In Europe, things are different. I don't know exactly where they stand. I think that there is conversations about changes. I don't know that any of those changes have happened. So if you've got a CSP in Europe, just be on the lookout for potential changes there. The big thing here, don't get caught by surprise and understand that if you've got workloads there, you need to make the decision where those workloads need to be. Up to you where you put them. Maybe you leave them, maybe you don't. That's up to you, but just wanted you to be aware. The second thing I wanted to mention is Broadcom Nights. So you will start to hear us talk more and more about Nights. You will also hear us talk, or Broadcom talking more about Nights. So Nights are partners only. It's an invite-only program, and it is something that once you get invited, this is where, as Broadcom is shifting a lot of the professional services to partners, you're going to want to know who has Nights and who doesn't, and who is a Night and who isn't. Because some of the VARs and MSPs and integrated service providers, those that don't have Nights, not saying don't use them, but you want to make sure you vet them. If it's a company that has a Night, you know that they're pretty well vetted because they've been asked to be part of this program. These are the people also that are going to have the expertise around the entire VMware portfolio. So in the past, you might have gotten that support from somebody at VMware. Obviously, there's been a lot of staffing changes with VMware and such. So that support now is going to come from a Night. I'm not saying this is 100% one way or another, but you're going to see Night starting to pick up that load. So that's why I wanted to mention the Nights. All right. So we're going to open it up to Q&A, and I don't think we have any Q&As. Anything in the chat that we need to cover? And I think I failed to mention, but of course, we have got Kendall and Erica here as well. I must have talked fast on that one. We went through that pretty quickly. Yeah. You know, it's a toward the end of the year. Oh, we do have one more slide. Please throw in a Q&A because I do want to talk about this. But starting in January, we're going to continue to do this every other month, but we're going to set a cadence of the second Thursday of every other month. So a new link will be coming to sign up for that. The good news is you can sign up for one and it'll put you in for all of them. And that way you only have to sign up one time for the entire year, which is kind of cool. And yeah, that's the plan on that one. All right, team, anything I missed?
Do you want to answer that question that we got earlier about the licenses in the ETA?
Oh, yes, great question. So somebody on the previous town hall asked about the ETA on the licenses, and Eric, get your fingers ready. So right now we are looking at the end of the year to get the licenses for Advantage for VCF 9. Let me be very specific here. So if you're Advantage and you've already got your cert and you were looking to get VCF 9 When that is going to be available, we are tracking this by the end of the year. Now, Eric and team have been working on this, and they feel like they're pretty close to getting this done. And so he mentioned a date on this other podcast I listened to literally this morning of December 8th. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but I still think we're tracking on. Oh, we do have Q&A. Still tracking on that. We have said that by the end of the year is when we should have that done. So I see no concerns on by the end of the year. Obviously, if we get this done sooner, and by we, I mean Eric and the Broadcom team, we'll let you know. We will be shouting that one from the mountaintops because we want everybody to get that. Let's see. Oh, so Eric's telling me to get your VCF non-license tokens. What is the planned date? December 12th. December 12th is the planned date for that. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Let's see. Matt Hellstab asked, do people who get a speaking session get a discount for VMUG Connect? I think if you,
They get a pass.
I think you get a pass. Yeah, if you get selected to speak at VMUG Connect, you will get a complimentary pass for the entire event. So that's a no-brainer. Great question, though.
All the more reason to sign up to speak.
That's right. All right, so December 12th is the date. Free pass if you speak. Anything else you got for me? All right, well, we'll close it out.
Will there be a day zero for VMUG Connect?
Oh, yeah, Eric teamed me up good here. So yeah, VMUG Connect, we're going to have, these are going to be roughly 2.5-day events. So if you want to come in early, there is a day zero, which we will have things like, we're thinking about like having code labs there, doing some whiteboard sessions where you're able to sit down with maybe a Knight or a Broadcom person or something like that, whiteboard out sessions. So, you know, it's the unconference kind of thing. We did that in St. Louis and it was successful. And so we're going to do those same type things as well prior to the event. So this is going to be really, you know, that nitty gritty community event. You know, it might be all of us in a room, and a couple of whiteboards and some pizza boxes and those kind of things. But if you want to do that and you're in early, it'll give you something to do. Great way to connect up with the community. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing day zero. If you're a VMUG leader, we're also going to be doing some VMUG training at the event as well. So that's going to be a little bit of overlap in that day zero, but we should be able to figure it out where you have time to do both. That's going to be invite only for that leader training. So if you're a leader, be on the lookout for that. All right. Any other questions? Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Matt. All right. Well, I think we can close it out.
Fantastic.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much. I appreciate you joining. Have a great rest of the year. Great holiday. And we look forward to seeing you at a VMUG Connect next year. And of course, at the town halls and many other VMUGs all throughout the year. Thanks, everyone.